Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the debate is not in the studio. The debate is in the skies. The Indian aviation market, a symbol of our nation's ambition, has become a story of two giants. On one side, we have IndiGo, the undisputed king of the domestic market, with its vast fleet and an iron grip on market share. On the other, the revitalized Air India group, backed by the mighty Tata sons, soaring with renewed purpose. Together, they control over 80% of our skies. The nation wants to know, is this a healthy situation for the world's fastest-growing aviation market? Is this what we call competition? Or is it a duopoly that leaves the Indian passenger with no real choice? I ask you, is it fair? When you, the common person, the aspiring Indian, try to book a flight, what do you see? You see two names, again and again. You see prices that seem to move in lockstep. You see routes that are dominated by these two behemoths. This isn't just a business story, ladies and gentlemen. This is a story about you. It's about your money, your time, and your choices. The consolidation of power in the hands of IndiGo and the Air India conglomerate, which now includes Vistara, Air India Express, and AIX Connect, has created a formidable force. But with great power comes great responsibility, and the question is whether that responsibility is being met. The numbers don't lie. Look at the data. Month after month, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation releases figures that paint a stark picture. While other smaller players like Akasa Air and SpiceJet fight for the scraps, the lion's share of passengers are flying with just two airline groups. This situation has been building for years, accelerated by the unfortunate collapse of airlines like Jet Airways and Go First. Their exit created a vacuum, a massive void that was quickly filled by the two giants who had the resources and the fleet to expand aggressively. But this expansion came at a cost. Not for them, but for you, the passenger. So tonight, we must ask the tough questions. Has the Indian passenger become a pawn in a larger game of corporate chess? Are we witnessing the slow death of genuine competition in a sector that is critical for our economic growth and national connectivity? The government has been watching, the regulators have been observing, and the people of India have been waiting. The dominance of this duopoly has created the perfect storm, a brewing crisis that demanded a response. A response that, as we will see, is finally beginning to take shape on the horizon, promising a new chapter for Indian aviation. The debate is on. The breaking point, ladies and gentlemen, was not a matter of if, but when, and it came in the sweltering summer of 2025. The crisis erupted when IndiGo, the market leader, announced mass flight cancellations. Not 10, not 50, but hundreds of flights were grounded. The reason given was a severe shortage of pilots and crew, a problem they saw coming but failed to fix. Passengers were left stranded at airports across the country. Holiday plans were ruined. Business meetings were missed. The chaos was unprecedented. The nation watched in disbelief as the airline that prided itself on punctuality and reliability crumbled under the weight of its own dominance. Is this acceptable? I ask you tonight. Can a single airline's internal problems bring an entire nation's travel plans to a grinding halt? The scenes at the airports were heart-wrenching. Families with children sleeping on floors, business travelers frantically trying to rebook, and elderly passengers left with no information and no assistance. The outrage was palpable. Social media exploded with stories of desperation. #IndiGo crisis trended for weeks. This was not just a corporate failure, it was a national embarrassment. It exposed the fragile foundation upon which our aviation sector was built, an over-reliance on one or two major players. This chaos sent shockwaves right to the heart of the government. The Ministry of Civil Aviation, which had been championing the UDAN scheme to connect every corner of India, was faced with a stark reality. What is the point of building new airports in small towns if the airlines that are meant to serve them are cancelling flights at will? The duopoly was no longer a theoretical economic problem. It was a real, tangible crisis affecting millions of citizens. The government realized that it could not stand by and watch. It needed to act, and it needed to act decisively to restore balance and protect the interests of the Indian flyer. And so, the wheels of bureaucracy, often criticized for their slow pace, began to turn with surprising speed. The government fast-tracked the approval process for new airline licenses. The message from the top was clear. India needs more airlines. We need more competition. We need to break this stranglehold and ensure that a crisis of this magnitude never happens again. The IndiGo fiasco was the final push, the catalyst that forced a rethink of India's entire aviation policy. It was out of the ashes of this crisis that 3 new hopefuls were given the green light to prepare for takeoff. The nation was demanding change, and change was on its way. First on the debate stage tonight is Hind Air. This is not just another airline, ladies and gentlemen. This is an airline with a clear mission and a strategic base. Headquartered in Kozhikode, Kerala, Hind Air is the brainchild of the Hind Group, a powerful and well-respected player in the travel and tourism industry, especially in the Gulf region. They know the market, they know the people, and they know the demand. Their business model is sharp and focused, a hybrid carrier aiming to capture the immense traffic between South India and the Middle East, a route that is a lifeline for millions of Indians and their families. Their plan is not to compete with IndiGo on every single domestic route. That would be suicide. Instead, they are playing a smarter game. They are targeting a niche they understand better than anyone else. Their initial routes will connect Kozhikode, Kochi, and Thiruvananthapuram, with key destinations like Dubai, Sharjah, Jeddah, and Riyadh. This is a high-demand, high-yield market that has, for too long, been dominated by a few carriers who dictated the fares. Hind Air promises to change that with competitive pricing and service that understands the cultural nuances of its passengers. This is smart, targeted competition. What is their current status? The nation wants to know. As of today, December 27, 2025, Hind Air has received its No Objection Certificate from the Ministry of Civil Aviation. This is a major milestone. They are now in the final stages of securing their Air Operator Certificate from the Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Sources tell me they have already signed lease agreements for 3 Airbus A321neo aircraft, with plans to induct 5 more within the first year of operation. They are actively recruiting pilots and cabin crew, with a focus on multilingual staff who can cater to their target audience. They are aiming for a launch in the second quarter of 2026. This is a serious contender, viewers. They have the financial backing, the industry experience, and a well-defined strategy. They are not trying to be everything to everyone. They are focusing on a specific, profitable segment where they have a home ground advantage. By basing themselves in Kozhikode, they are also boosting a regional economy and challenging the traditional dominance of metro hubs like Delhi and Mumbai. Hind Air is not just launching an airline. They are making a statement. A statement that regional powerhouses can and will rise to challenge the established order. The debate has just begun. Next up, we have FlyExpress. The name itself suggests speed, efficiency, and a no-nonsense approach. And that is precisely their game plan. Based out of the bustling tech hub of Bengaluru, FlyExpress is positioning itself as an ultra-low-cost carrier, or ULCC. Their model is even leaner than that of traditional low-cost carriers like IndiGo. They aim to unbundle every single service. The ticket price will get you a seat, and that's it. Everything else, checked baggage, seat selection, onboard meals, even a printed boarding pass at the airport, will come at an extra cost. This is the Ryanair model, adapted for India. The strategy is bold. They believe there is a massive untapped market of first-time flyers and extremely price-sensitive travelers who are willing to forego all frills for the lowest possible fare. Their planned routes reflect this thinking. Initially, they will focus on high-density trunk routes connecting Bengaluru with Delhi, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. But their real focus, they say, will be on connecting Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. They are looking at routes like Bengaluru to Hubli, Pune to Nagpur, and Lucknow to Jaipur. Routes that have high demand but are often served by expensive, inconvenient one-stop flights. They want to be the airline that truly democratizes air travel. So, where does FlyExpress stand today? They are slightly behind Hind Air in the race, but are moving at a rapid pace. They received their No Objection Certificate in November 2025 and are now deep in the complex process of preparing their application for the Air Operator Certificate. Industry insiders report that their leadership team, a mix of seasoned aviation professionals and young tech entrepreneurs, is in advanced talks with both Airbus and Boeing for a significant aircraft order. In the interim, they plan to start operations with 4 leased Boeing 737-800 aircraft, a reliable workhorse perfect for their ultra-low-cost model. Their target launch date is set for the busy winter season of late 2026. The gamble for FlyExpress is huge. The ultra-low-cost model is notoriously difficult to execute. It requires ruthless cost control, high aircraft utilization, and a relentless focus on operational efficiency. Can they pull it off in the complex Indian environment, with its high taxes on jet fuel and congested airports? The promoters are confident. They argue that technology will be their key differentiator, using data analytics to optimize pricing and AI-powered systems to manage operations. FlyExpress is not just another airline. It's a tech company that happens to fly planes. They are a disruptor, and the incumbents should be watching them very, very closely. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we turn to the most intriguing and perhaps the most ambitious of the 3 new entrants, Shankh Air. The name itself, Shankh, the conch shell, evokes a sense of tradition, purity, and a powerful call to the nation. Based in the holy city of Varanasi, Shankh Air is not just an airline, it is a concept. It aims to be India's premier pilgrimage carrier. Its mission is to connect the major religious and spiritual centers of our country, making travel for millions of devotees easier, faster, and more comfortable. This is a unique and powerful proposition that taps directly into the heart of India. Their business model is a fascinating blend of scheduled flights and charter services. The core of their network will connect Varanasi with other key pilgrimage sites like Tirupati, Amritsar, Katra for Vaishno Devi, and Shirdi. Imagine, just for a moment, a direct flight from the banks of the Ganga to the hills of Tirumala. This is the connectivity they promise. Beyond scheduled operations, they plan to offer customized charter packages for large groups, working with tour operators who specialize in religious tourism. They are not just selling a seat, they are selling a spiritual journey, an experience. This is a market segment that has been largely ignored by the big players. Shankh Air's current status reflects its unique approach. They have secured their NOC and are working towards their AOC, but their path is different. They plan to start with a fleet of smaller, more efficient ATR-72 turboprop aircraft. These planes are ideal for operating from smaller regional airports, many of which are located near the pilgrimage sites they plan to serve. This avoids the high operational costs and congestion of major metro airports. Sources confirm they have secured initial funding from a consortium of investors who see the immense potential in faith-based tourism. Their projected launch is for early 2027, timed to coincide with a major festival season. The challenge for Shankh Air is clear. Can they build a sustainable business model around a market that can be seasonal? How will they manage operations in smaller airports that may lack sophisticated infrastructure? The founders, however, are steadfast. They believe that their deep understanding of the customer's needs, combined with a focus on compassionate service, will be their strength. They plan to offer special assistance for elderly passengers and provide vegetarian meals on all flights. Shankh Air is more than a low-cost carrier. It's a purpose-driven airline. It represents a new way of thinking, and its success could inspire a whole new category of specialized airlines in India. So why is the arrival of Hind Air, FlyExpress and Shankh Air so critically important? The nation wants to know. The answer is simple, ladies and gentlemen. It is about breaking the duopoly. It is about restoring the balance of power. For too long, the Indian passenger has been at the mercy of IndiGo and the Air India group. This concentration of power has led to predictable and damaging consequences. We have seen it with our own eyes. Ticket prices have soared, especially on routes where competition has vanished. During peak seasons and on last-minute bookings, fares have become extortionate, making air travel a luxury for many, not a necessity. The entry of these three new airlines, each with a different strategy, promises to inject a much-needed dose of real competition into the market. FlyExpress, with its ultra-low-cost model, will put direct downward pressure on fares, forcing the giants to respond. Hind Air will challenge the incumbents on lucrative international routes, offering a better alternative to a specific demographic. Shankh Air will open up new routes and create a new market, giving people choices they never had before. This is what healthy competition looks like. It's not just about price, it's about choice, innovation, and accountability. More competition means better service. It's a fundamental law of the market. When airlines have to fight for your business, they have to treat you better. The current duopoly has led to a sense of complacency. We have heard the horror stories of poor customer service, lost baggage with no recourse, and a take-it-or-leave-it attitude from airline staff. New players, hungry for market share, will have to differentiate themselves on service quality. They will have to be more responsive, more polite, and more passenger-centric to win loyalty. This will force the established players to up their game, leading to a better experience for everyone, across all airlines. Ultimately, this is about strengthening the entire aviation ecosystem. A market dominated by just two players is brittle and vulnerable, as the IndiGo crisis proved. A more diverse market with multiple healthy airlines is more resilient. It can better absorb shocks, whether they are internal operational issues or external global crises. The government's push for more airlines is not just about helping the passenger. It's a strategic move to build a more robust and reliable national infrastructure. The arrival of these new airlines is not just a business story. It is the beginning of a new dawn for the Indian flyer, promising more choices, fairer prices, and better service. The nation is watching. But tonight on The Debate, we must also face the harsh reality. We must ask the tough questions. Launching an airline is easy. Keeping it flying is the hard part. The history of Indian aviation is littered with the graves of failed airlines. Remember Kingfisher Airlines? Remember Jet Airways? Remember the litany of smaller regional carriers that promised the sky and then disappeared without a trace? The path to success is narrow and treacherous, and these new airlines face a formidable wall of challenges. The first and most immediate is the global pilot shortage. Where will these new airlines find the experienced captains and first officers to fly their planes? There is already a fierce war for talent. IndiGo and Air India are poaching pilots from each other and from smaller carriers, offering massive salaries and bonuses. A new airline with no track record and less financial muscle will find it incredibly difficult to attract and retain qualified crew. This shortage is not just a line on a balance sheet, it is an existential threat. Without pilots, your expensive, newly leased aircraft are just shiny metal tubes sitting on the tarmac. This is a critical challenge that all three new airlines must address from day one. The second major hurdle is acquiring aircraft. The world is facing a supply chain crisis. Both Airbus and Boeing have huge backlogs of orders, stretching for years. This means new airlines are forced into the aircraft leasing market, which is expensive and unforgiving. Lessors demand hefty security deposits and charge high rental fees, especially from new, unproven carriers. Securing favorable lease terms is a battle in itself. Any delay in aircraft delivery can throw an airline's entire business plan into disarray, leading to cancelled routes and a loss of credibility before they have even established themselves. It is a high-stakes game. And then there is the inescapable reality of costs. Aviation is a business of wafer-thin margins. The biggest cost, which can be up to 40% of an airline's expenditure, is aviation turbine fuel. In India, jet fuel is taxed at one of the highest rates in the world. Add to that the high airport charges, navigation fees, and GST. The cost structure in India is crippling for any airline, let alone a startup. These new players will be burning through cash at an alarming rate. They need deep pockets, nerves of steel, and an impeccable operational plan to have even a fighting chance of survival against the established giants. The wall of reality is high. So, what are the experts saying tonight? We have spoken to industry veterans, aviation analysts, and former airline executives. The mood, ladies and gentlemen, is one of cautious skepticism mixed with a glimmer of hope. On one hand, the skepticism is deep-rooted and based on decades of experience. An analyst from a top consulting firm told us, and I quote, "Launching 3 airlines in this environment is brave, but potentially reckless. The duopoly is entrenched, the cost environment is brutal, and the structural challenges of pilots and planes are not going away." History is not on their side. This sentiment is echoed by many. They point to the failure of regional airlines under the UDAN scheme as a cautionary tale. Many of these small carriers collapsed within a few years, unable to cope with the high costs and operational complexities. The government can grant a license, a former DGCA official told me, but it cannot grant a sustainable business model. The experts are worried that these new airlines, especially the smaller ones like Shankh Air, might underestimate the sheer financial firepower needed to withstand the pricing wars that the big players will inevitably unleash to protect their turf. They are entering a shark tank. However, there is another side to this debate. There is a school of thought that believes this time it could be different. The government's proactive stance is a game changer. A senior official at the Ministry of Civil Aviation, speaking on the condition of anonymity, said, "We are not just giving out licenses. We are creating a supportive ecosystem. We are looking at rationalizing taxes on ATF and streamlining regulations to reduce the compliance burden on new entrants." This signals a crucial shift in policy. The government now sees a diverse aviation market as a strategic national asset, not just a commercial enterprise. This provides a ray of hope. Proponents of the new airlines argue that the market is now big enough to support more players, especially those with unique business models. The post-pandemic travel boom has shown that the demand is insatiable. An expert on air transport economics stated, "The success of Akasa Air, which has captured a respectable market share in a short time, proves that a well-run new airline can succeed. The key for Hind, FlyExpress, and Shankh Air will be discipline. Financial discipline, operational discipline, and the discipline to stick to their niche and not get drawn into a full-blown war with the giants." The debate is perfectly balanced on a knife's edge. So, what is the final verdict tonight? The arrival of Hind Air, FlyExpress, and Shankh Air is more than just a business development. It is a moment of truth for Indian aviation. It is a test of our nation's ability to foster genuine competition, and build a resilient, passenger-first industry. For these airlines to succeed, it's not enough for them to have a smart business plan or deep pockets. A fundamental shift needs to happen across the entire ecosystem. First and foremost, the government must follow through on its promises. It must act as a facilitator, not just a regulator. This means tackling the structural problems head-on. The government must urgently rationalize the taxes on jet fuel to bring them in line with global standards. This single step would provide massive relief to all airlines and create a more level playing field for new entrants. It must also invest heavily in creating a robust pipeline of pilots, engineers, and aviation professionals through new training academies and skill development programs. Granting licenses is the easy part. Creating the conditions for success is the real challenge. The government's role is absolutely critical in this next chapter. The new airlines, for their part, must learn the lessons from the failures of the past. They must be disciplined, innovative, and laser-focused on their niche. They cannot afford to make the same mistakes of overexpansion and unsustainable debt that brought down giants like Jet Airways. They must build their businesses brick by brick, route by route, prioritizing profitability and reliability over reckless growth. Their success will depend on their ability to execute their plans flawlessly and win the trust of the Indian passenger, one flight at a time. The incumbents, IndiGo and Air India, must also accept this new reality and compete fairly. In the end, ladies and gentlemen, the success of these new airlines is in our national interest. A vibrant, competitive aviation market is the engine of economic growth, a facilitator of tourism, and a unifier of our vast nation. It empowers the common citizen with the freedom to travel, to connect, and to aspire. The journey for Hind Air, FlyExpress, and Shankh Air will be long and arduous. There will be turbulence. But their potential to reshape our skies, to break the duopoly, and to usher in a new era for the Indian flyer is undeniable. The nation is watching, with bated breath and a great deal of hope. The debate will continue, not in the studio, but in the skies above India. Good night.